How is everyone doing today? And in this video, we are going to go over my first of hopefully many versions of the how can you build the best, or how should you build everything like that and that type of sorts for a specific element. I've been talking about doing this for quite some time, and it does take a bit of time to go through everything in regards to finding the best team, the timeline of the units you have to pull, or some of the units that you should try to pull, because we all know that luck isn't always on our side. And then of course, other than that, just showing you the best teams in JP at current day, so you know what you're looking for, and explaining what every character does. We will be skipping over a couple of characters, whether they are for the light team or general supports, just because A, they don't fit in the final team build, or B, they realistically get power crept very fast, or they just have their spots replaced by another unit so badly to the point where they're kind of get taken off of the team. So for the first part of the video, we are going to talk about the current day best light team, and that is going to be, look at that, I have all this Photoshop looking cool stuff. I'm really happy how this turned out. But we have current day best team for light. It is going to be in the first slot, it's going to be your sustain. We are looking at a couple of different characters that could be in this spot specifically. Right now I do have Tama here. Realistically, all she does for the team is provide SP with her EX skill, but realistically you can put whoever you want on this sustain portion of the team, because you just need someone to keep your team alive, whether it be someone like Tama, whether it be someone like Mua. Mua is also a little redundant just because Tama gives a little bit of SP to light only Memoria, so it's only two other characters on the team. Mua is giving Mind's Eye, but we already have someone like Kanade who is giving Mind's Eye to herself as well. Not only that, when looking at Kanade giving herself Mind's Eye, Mua giving herself Mind's Eye is pretty cool. It's not needed because she can provide it to herself, but you also can give this to something like Tsukasa, so that she's able to do some damage as well with whatever remaining buffs she gets for being off field. The same of her buffing Kanade, she kind of shares those buffs because they're all frontline buffs, so realistically she's going to hurt a little bit extra just because having Mua on the team. Other than that, you can throw in something like Aoi. Aoi, Mua, and Tama, these are all pretty good versions of a sustain that you can put on the team. Realistically, there's not that much that you can offer at the current moment for a sustain, because not a lot of them at the current moment have like buffs associated with them or debuffs to give to the enemy. So right now we're just looking at Tama, we're looking at Aoi, and we're looking at Mua. Any sustain is honestly really good for you to use in regards to just keeping your team alive. That's the main point of this slot here. Just keep your team alive. The next slot is going to be a debuffer, which is going to be Isuzu SS2, if I'm not wrong, which is the Bath Isuzu. And this Isuzu is going to give you DP, defense down, which is by a crazy amount when you look at how much she gives. And then only that, you're also getting defense down as well for AoE. So this is a really good debuffer. It's able to shred the defenses of the enemy quite a bit with her EX skill, which is really nice to see. Not only that, we are also looking at Yingxia. And Yingxia, we already know what she does. She's the only source of hit count buff that we currently have in the game. With that being said, that's a pretty big feat for her to have, of course, and she's not going to get replaced till a very long time from now. The next one is going to be Mia. Now this specific Mia is really good for multiple reasons. Your defense down, my bad, and you also have Fragile, which is really nice. They're both going to be 2 turns because of her EX skill. Now realistically, when looking at the rest of the characters, we are looking at Tsukasa, who is going to be the fielder for light. She's going to give crit rate, crit damage to Kanade. If you don't have this Tsukasa, you can opt in for Mia 1 and her EX skill, because Mia 1 is going to give you the light field that you might want in order to buff as much possible for the Kanade. This is going to give you the light buff, and not only that, it's a permanent field, which is really nice. And if you don't have that Tsukasa, you can slot in not only that Mia, but you can also slot in Saika as well for the crit rate and crit damage. This team that I'm showing you right here as one of the best, this may have some changes whether they're in your box or not. You can switch out a bunch of different characters like the Isuzu for another debuffer, or maybe even another buffer. Same thing goes for Mia. being able to do the same. If you don't have her, use the SS1 for the light field. If you have Tsukasa, then you can switch around, whether you need a debuffer, whether you need a buffer, or maybe even put in a blaster to fill in the remaining holes on the team. Just because I'm showing the best team doesn't mean you need to have all these characters. Now, as you play the game, and eventually you will get more SSs with guaranteed SS tickets. We're getting the new scripts as well from the score battle. If you haven't noticed, we are getting more ways of grabbing SSs for free. These puzzle pieces are going to allow you to be able to get a guaranteed SS, which is really nice. Now, these also reset like the regular banner every first of the month. That way you're able to get brand new SSs and even a better pool of SSs. So I really advise a lot of you to save these as much as possible, because the longer you save these, the better the units you can grab from these if you're lucky, which is really nice to know. But other than that, like I said, you don't have to have every one of these characters, but you can fill in some holes. This is a really nice roster that we have right now for the light team, and we're talking specifically about the light team. We will be talking about other elements in the future once I get those done as well. When talking about some of the substitutes that are a little bit more free, because yes, a lot of these are SSs that are going to be a little hard to obtain if you didn't pull them off rate or you didn't get them recently. Some of the substitutions that you can run are Shiki. Shiki is able to give charge versus crit rate, and she's also going to be giving SP to the backline, which is really cool. She works really well with Yingxia S, just because they both provide a SP to the backline. So the SP gain is going to be around 4+ SP every turn for the backline if Shiki and Yingxia are at the front line. You also have Irie. Irie is a really good defender because not only does she raise frontline defense, she also gives a full team heal, which is actually really insane for her skills, if I'm not wrong. I hope I said that right, because if I remember right, she does give all of that, which I think is actually kind of insane. Let's go ahead and go to this. We don't have the defender tab sadly anymore for some reason. Restore all allies DP and reduce damage to the front line, if I'm not wrong, which is absolutely wild. This is a really good sustain if you have her, because she should be free, because she does come from the Angel Beats event specifically, and if you did any of the score battle, you can grab her without even doing the story itself, which you should do, because I gotta do very soon as well. So Irie is a really great character. Aina is also a really nice character for an S rank, because she's going to provide you with defense down from her A rank, and then she's also going to provide you with fragile from her S rank, and they're both AoE. Although it's going to be, of course, not as potent as some of the SSs, it's nice to have as a substitute, of course, if you don't have these big time SSs for your light team. And the last other substitution, which there can be multiple, Tama, specifically this one right here, just because you are able to get a full team heal off with this Tama, and this is just a really nice thing to have, because being able to heal without needing to only do the front line allows you to help out the characters in the back line and make sure that everyone's healed up so that they can take a little bit more hits, because as you may know, the score battles are getting harder and harder, and they're getting hard to sustain. So having a full team heal is really nice to have for your team if you don't have any crazy sustain besides the ones I've listed before. Now to get on to the really cool part. Now that I've explained basically everything in regards to looking at the, what is it called, best team right now in global, of course there could be some nuances. Some characters may be better than others, and we might have a more optimized version, but this realistically is close to, if not the best team for light right now. The next thing is to look at the timeline. What characters should you be pulling? And right here, I've made a nice little timeline. I'm actually really happy with how this turned out. Right now, we are at Monaka and Yuki on the banners at the current moment. So, Monaka and Yuki, as you may know, Monaka is going to be by far one of the best light damage dealers in the game at the current moment. Not at the moment. In the future, she will be one of the best because of her synergy with upcoming characters that I will be talking about in this video. This Monaka is going to be one of the best light units in the game. This Yuki as well is going to be one of the better light debuffers in the game as well, with her being able to give super break, which allows you to have a higher devastation rate, which allows you to do a lot more damage in the future. You can substitute her for future characters, which I will be talking about as well. And going ahead and talking about our first couple of banners when it comes to the timeline, and around 2 to 3 banners we should be expecting Tama. Now I am skipping a character in this timeline because The characters I'm skipping will be associated with other elements, and they will be covered in the other element videos. I think my next step will be Thunder, just because although Thunder isn't that strong in JP right now, Thunder is going to be the closest at the current moment when it comes to having their very important units come out, because we're about to get Sharo, which is going to be Thunder Overwrite. So we will have to talk about that very soon, because of course I don't want to leave that out right before she comes out. But in 2 to 3 banners we should be expecting Suit Tama, and as many of you should know, Suit Tama is going to be very important for a majority of teams. Not light specific, in all honesty, and I don't think I have her pulled up as well, but Suit Tama is going to be pretty important. Because looking at Suit Tama, she's going to provide crit rate, crit damage, and Mind's Eye. She will be able to target who gets the Mind's Eye, so that makes her very, very strong. And not only that, she's also going to be giving an attack up to the reserve, so she's going to be a really, really strong buffer. And not only that, she's giving a skill attack up to the entire party as a passive. She's getting, of course, the usual 1 SP on her frontline turn, and then you can limit break 3 her to immediately get 5 SP. So this is something that a lot of people are aiming for. She's not specifically going to be a light character on the light team, but she is a really good general support, and I think Suit Tama will be probably in all of my videos until she passes in regards to the timeline, because she's just a really good unit to have generally, because of all the buffs that she provides and how potent she is and how good she is as a unit. Although yes, I know there are mumblings about her being power crept now in JP just because of the new Admiral character, which is Yanagi. We'll have to see how that pans out, but it doesn't take away the fact that Suit Tama is still one of the better buffers in the game for a very long time in the future. So Suit Tama is going to be here to stay, and this is something to look forward to very soon if you haven't already pulled. Going forward, around 7 banners in time, we should receive this light Miko, and we're going to talk about this Miko in a quick second. But we are seeing that Unison Ruka will be in between this. So I do want to note some characters that will be in between these banners that a lot of people might want, or you might want to look out for, not because they're of course part of the light team, but because they are pretty influential with them being limited characters. All Unison characters are limited characters, and with that being said, that means they don't pop up off free. So if you don't pull them, then they kind of go away for a long time until they eventually rerun. So I want to have these small circles in between the time, just to showcase some characters that you may want to look out for in between waiting for very key components of the team. If you don't pull Yuki specifically, Miko will be one of your better options to pull for a debuffer or a buffer, if I'm not wrong, because this Miko specifically, I'm trying to have all my tabs in order. This Miko specifically is going to give you 2 turns of single target light defense down, and also 2 turns of fragile, which is pretty nice to see. That being said, she also can heal, which is really cool. And then with her limit break 3, she is going to have a cost reduction of 2. So this means that her EX skill will actually be 8 SP, which is actually pretty cheap for a 2-turn light defense down and a fragile. So this Miko is pretty nice to look at when it comes to what she's able to provide for the light team, and she is going to be the stand-in if you don't get Yuki for the light team. Like I said, Unison Ruka is going to be fire and dark, and she's going to be in between Suit Tama and Miko. The next character is going to be Light Isuzu, and in between Light Isuzu and Miko, there will be 12 banners. One of the main banners for that you should be looking out for, and like I said, this doesn't include element specific characters. All element specific characters will be in their own element video, because we're just talking about light. This is specifically for people that want to build the best of the best light team and want to know what to be pulling and also what to look for. In between Miko and Light Isuzu, we are going to see Unison Yuina, who's actually pretty important towards the end of this video, because we are going to be talking about the best light team, and she will be a part of that. I probably should have put her as a major circle because she is a key component, but I really wanted to make it towards the main characters that you really want to pull if you want all of the best of the best. So we do have Yuina here, which is going to be a key component of the last team that we're going to be looking at. But in between Miko and Isuzu, Light Isuzu, there will be 12 banners in between. And this Light Isuzu specifically is going to be giving us some buffs, if I'm not wrong. And I'm trying to remember where I put all these characters. I am very sorry. I'm very disorganized. and trying to remember where all these guys are. I don't even think I have a tab for this, so this kind of sucks. I'll go to Isuzu, and this light Isuzu will be giving the premium feel, which is going to be the same as Tsukasa. And only that, you're also going to be getting a 2-turn AoE light defense down and a 2-turn AoE defense down, which is going to be a really nice character to bring out, specifically of course to replace either Tsukasa or have a stand-in for Tsukasa for the light feel that you're going to be seeing. So she's going to be a really nice light character to look out for in the far future. After we look at Isuzu, we are going to have a 7-banner time period. And this is going to hurt because this 7-banner time period will be from Isuzu to Diva Ruka. And Diva Ruka is basically the brand new Yingxia. She's going to be the best, the most pull character for everybody's account. You need Diva Ruka for the hit count buff, and not only that, she extends the amount of times you can do certain moves and all that different type of stuff. She's a really strong unit with all that she provides. And I keep pressing the dang wrong picture. Diva Ruka is going to give you not only 5 turns of frontline crit rate up, 5 turns of crit damage up, and not only that, you're also able to recover DP from the damage you've dealt, which is insane. And also EX skills can be used regardless of remaining uses. This does cap out on certain EX skills that have a steady, you have to only do one of this. I don't know what moves we have of that right now. It might go to the admirals or something like that, or maybe even no, I think the orb skills actually get changed to this too. But you're getting a good amount of buffs from this Ruka, and not only that, you're also getting the hit count buff, which you can give of course to your allies that you have on the team. She's gonna be a very important character to bring out, and in between this we have an insane amount of banners in between these guys that you might want to look out for. One is Unison Yuki. So if you have the light Yuki, that Unison Yuki is going to be pretty important for one of her common skills, or her passive, I guess you could say. Not only that, we also have Admiral Aoi. Admiral Aoi will also be a character that is a pretty much must pull for a lot of people's accounts because of all the buffs that she can provide, like giving the whole team 100% crit rate no matter what, as long as she's on the field or on the team, and then also giving a full bar of OD just for existing. Or using her EX skill. I forget what it comes with. And then Mia 3 will also be a component of the team for the final best light team in the game because of her common skills. Well, I think, if I'm not wrong. And then these are the banners in between Isuzu and Ruka. So yeah, there's a lot. I think this is going to be a pain period for a lot of people's light building for the most part. But of course, the longer you play the game, the more chances you get of pulling certain characters. Now, I don't know if Admiral is limited. I will have to look into that in the future. But of course, Mia is a character that you can pull off raid. So hopefully, on your journey to pull all these light characters or these light specific units, you are able to pull the characters that you need. I'm going ahead and looking after Diva Ruka. We are going to see Captain Yuina, or the captain's versions of the captains on the teams. That was a very weird sentence to say. This Yuina is going to be pretty important. This is the heart and soul of the light team, and a very important aspect to all of the characters that will be coming out in the future for light. This Yuina is a little cracked, and she is very freaking strong for no reason. This Yuina provides totems and a crap ton of buffs to your allies. The first set of buffs: 5 turns party light crit rate up, 5 turns party light crit damage up. So this is already insane for what she's giving. Not only that, she's also giving a token or 2 tokens or 2 totems to everybody that is on the front line. Now, why is this important specifically? Based on the amount of totems that you have on your team or on your ally specifically, you get a different set of buffs. And I accidentally searched up instead of translating. You get a different set of buffs. These buffs go from giving you more crit rate, more crit damage. You're able to do more destruction rate, if I'm not wrong, or that might be the attack itself. And then the last one is SP consumption halved when your token is 4 or more. So being able to give yourself tokens for Yuina, being able to give tokens to the front line, means characters like Monaka will absolutely go ham. This also allows Yuina to potentially be an attacker herself, being able to give herself these crit rate, crit damage buffs up. Not only that, you also have her SS1, which allows you to use the light EX skill, which is going to allow you to do a lot more damage. This character is a must-have for all light teams, and especially if you have Monaka SS2 or specifically Monaka SS3, these two characters are going to thrive when Yuina comes out because she's providing totems, and being able to provide totems not only gives these guys more damage, but also gives them extra buffs coming from this specific Yuina, which is really nice. So this Yuina is a very, very important piece to the Light team. Monaka right now specifically, if you want to build the best of the best teams, Monaka SS3 will be a nice pull. She will be specifically, of course, wanted if you are trying to build out your SS2 Monaka, so that you can get the what is it called, the 16 SP move, which is going to allow you to do a 5-turn self light attack up and 5 turns of self mind's eye. Like, holy crap, this common skill is so disgusting, it's not even funny. And then being able to pair that up with getting all those totems, being able to pair that up with being able to get that damage boost from the totems that Yuina is giving. Ooh, and the crit rate, crit damage boost that Yuina is giving. Yeah, this team goes absolutely insane with the amount of damage that you're able to crap out with Yuina and Monaka specifically. Of course, you don't have to use Monaka as your number one character, or the character that you have to use. Yuina can work as a damage dealer as well with her SS1 EX skill. You can also use characters like Kanade. Kanade also works too, just because she also provides Mind's Eye to herself. She can give herself, well, that's pretty much it, Mind's Eye, but she's able to do a good amount of damage and keep up with the JP meta at the current moment. Although there are going to be better characters like Yuina SS1's EX skill on this Yuina specifically, or Monaka in any of her light variants. And then after we look at Monaka, after we look at Yuina, we are looking at a 1-banner difference, and that is going to be Overwrite Ichiko. Ichiko is going to be, of course, as you heard it, very important because she will be the overwrite to the team, and she would really want Limit Break 3-2 as her, I should say, investment when it comes to pulling this character, because this Ichiko specifically with 0 SP cost is able to give you 6 SP to the front line, which is actually kind of insane. The only problem is you do lose 50% OD gauge, so you can go into the negatives if you have none. With that being said, she does have some ways to circumvent losing that OD when you do end up using this skill point move that gives 6 SP, which is absolutely insane. Her EX skill, which is going to be the overwrite itself, giving AoE defense down, AoE light resist down, and also AoE overwrite, you're able to give yourself 50% OD. So you get it back with your EX skill. And not only that, when you end up looking at the level 3, you're also gaining 50% OD as well when you are under 0 OD. So when you hit the negatives, you immediately get 50% back. So that means that you have that fail safe from the Limit Break 3, so that you're not in the negative, so that you're actually earning your OD gauge instead of losing it all the way. And this has a limit of being used only one time. So that Ichiko is going to be very important for the light team, of course, because she will be the overwrite. The last thing to know is that if you are going to be building Monaka, not saying not to pull Sutama, but Sutama won't necessarily work that great with Monaka, because Monaka is already providing herself with the Mind's Eye buff from that 16 to 18 SP skill, which is giving her, what was it, Mind's Eye plus light attack up, if I'm not wrong. So there's really no reason to run that specific Tama on a team with that Monaka. But if you're going to use that Tama with any other light attacker that you may get, then go ahead. But to talk about the last bit, which is going to be the JP's best team for light. The best team for light for JP is going to include Monaka SS2 and 3. This is because, of course, as I said before, Monaka SS2 is just going to be here for her EX skill, and then not only that, she's able to get this boost from her SS3, which is the common skill that's going to be light attack up for 5 turns and Mind's Eye for 5 turns. Giving that to this Monaka is going to allow her to do some absolutely insane damage with the amount of totems that you're going to be able to stack out with the Yuina coming in the far future. After that, you of course want Ruka Diva, because she will be able to give you the hit count buff. That is what you want 100%. You want the crit rate up from her EX skill. You want the crit damage up from her EX skill. You want to be able to recover that DP, plus being able to use your EX skill whenever. And then not only that, you also have the hit count buff. Like, there's just so many things that come with this character. It's just absolutely wild. And not only that, when you have Limit Break 3 on Diva Ruka, you also are able to lower your SP cost by 2. So that's actually disgusting. Like, I'm not even lying. That is actually disgusting to have for Diva Ruka. So she's going to definitely be a character that you want to have on that team. Other than that, we're looking at Limit Break 1 Yuina, and this Yuina specifically, like I said, is the heart and soul. Her Limit Break 1 is going to be giving you that 1 SP that you want, and then her Limit Break 3 is going to be giving for the whole entire party, for however many tokens you have, you get a boost. So it's not only going to play more into Monaka's playstyle, it's just going to allow her to do so much damage if you have Limit Break 3 Yuina. But having that Limit Break 1 is going to be really nice because, of course, at 4 tokens, anybody gets 1 SP. So that's just really busted to have. Being able to have 4 tokens be the condition and your whole party can get 1 SP, not just Yuina, it's going to be the whole party that gets an extra SP if they hold 4 tokens. So it's literally just 2 procs of this one move, 10 SP, and your whole party starts getting an extra SP every turn, which is absolutely disgusting. Besides the Yuina, of course, Mia is going to be probably the craziest one because she is going to need SS2 Mia, SS1 Mia, and SS3 Mia. And the reason I say this is because with this Mia specifically, she is going to be our fielder. And the reason why she's our fielder is because of what she houses in all of her different versions of herself. Her SS1 Mia, or her master skill, is going to allow her to get an extra SP or extra 2 SP whenever you use an EX skill, which is actually really beneficial to all the SP we're already getting from all the other characters. SS1 Mia is going to be able to give you a light zone, and not only that, you also have an eternal, which is a permanent defense down onto the enemy whenever you use this EX skill, which is absolutely wild to have. With that being said as well, you also have the SS2 Mia's EX skill, which is 2 turn single target defense down, 2 turn fragile, which is really nasty. And then you also have the Limit Break 3 of boosting the self-defense down effect, which means that, of course, with that permanent defense down, having this Limit Break 3 allows that to be way more potent for a permanent defense down. You don't have to reapply it, which is absolutely wild. And then the last one is going to be SS3 Mia's common skill, which is going to allow you to boost the debuff effect that you have. So being able to boost yourself as much as you are with a permanent defense down, a light zone, you're also able to give yourself fragile plus defense down, and then not only that, of course, getting this extra 5 SP common skill from SS3 Mia, allowing you to boost your debuff effect bonus. So there's just a lot of moving parts within Mia, and of course, we don't expect you to have all of this. This is the best of the best team. You don't have to pull for all of these characters all in one go. You don't have to pull them when they're out. Just make sure whenever you do pull these guys, you level them up, you get their common skills, and try to work your way towards it, because it will be a long journey from pulling the characters that you already have or pulling for characters that you want, and then of course getting the best of the best, because there's just a lot of moving parts with a lot of these different characters. We don't expect you to pull all of them, right? This, as you work along with building your light team, if you so happen like this element, then this is the team you want to try to strive for. And of course there may be some changes as time goes by. Of course, this is just for, at the time of the recording, one of the best teams for light. Ichigo, you're going to want Limit Break 3, of course. For this Ichigo, I already said she has a very important function to her Limit Break 3, which is of course going to be that you're able to get your OD back if you fall under 0, which is going to be pretty important for this specific common skill, which is going to give you the frontline SP recovery. So this is going to be a really important character to have for overwrite sake, plus having the 6 SP. So you're printing SP like crazy with this team. And then lastly, we're looking at Yuki with SS4, which is the, Yuki here. And then we also have SS6 Yuki, which is going to be Unison Yuki. And for this one specifically, I'm sure this is for the passive skill from the Unison, which is going to allow you to extend the enemy's turn down by 1, which is actually kind of insane in my honest opinion. This is a kind of insane thing to give. That's going to be the reason why we have this Yuki. The Yuki herself is going to allow you to raise the destruction rate or devastation rate by 300%. So that's just a lot of extra damage coming onto the enemy's way. You can replace this Yuki for a Miko if you don't have this Yuki, and I'm trying to find out where she's at. this Miko specifically, of course, as we've already talked about before, is going to allow you to be able to debuff the defense and light defense of a character. That way you're able to, oh my bad, light defense and fragile of that character, allowing you to hit way harder on weakness, which of course you're always going to do because you have that specific Ichigo. As I said before, there are going to be substitutions that you can run or you can use if you already have them in your box. You know, Tsukasa, she's still a really good character. Crit rate up, crit damage up, premium zone, really good stuff. She also has a light attack up for frontline. This can be annoying to get off with all the buffs that we have to run on attackers, and being able to have some type of passive skill for them so they can stay on the field without using the buffs. But this is a really good character to have, for the fact that you can use them as substitutions if you already have them on your account and you don't necessarily want to double dip into the same section. There are characters, of course, that you can use an attacker that's not Monaka, which is something like Kanade. You can use Yuina SS1. There's a lot of really good substitutions for that. And then even general buffers, right? You can use stuff like Mari, attack up, crit rate up, crit damage up, Mind's Eye, and then Sutama, same thing. There's just a lot of different characters that you can look at that are going to allow you to have a bunch of general debuffs and buffs that can be put in place of some of these characters on the team that we're looking at for JP's best team. So that is pretty much everything when it comes to the light team and all of the craziness that is the moving parts, all the extra characters, everything in between, what we are at right now in terms of current day best team and what we are going to see in the far future. Other than that, that's pretty much going to be it for this video. Let me know how y'all like this video. Let me know if there's anything I can do to make it better. Let me know if there's anything I can do in terms of changes or anything like that. I will probably post this picture somewhere later down the line after this video is posted, so we'll see what happens with that. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. See you on the next one, and peace.